All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to today's webinar. I'm Christopher Lopez. I'm moderating today's webinar. We have Helen Hudson here from Safe Showings. She's going to be doing a little presentation for us. She's the creator of Safe Showings. We're delighted to have her here today. Helen, go ahead, take it away. I'm letting people in as you do your introduction, but I just wanted to say that. All right. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate everyone's time. I want to share with you first my story. It happened 7 years ago. I'll tell you what happened to me as a realtor, what inspired me to create Safe Showings. Then I'll talk about what makes our app unique, how it can help you be proactive about your personal safety. You'll see a short video, it's a couple minutes long, on how easy it is to use Safe Showings. I'm a realtor and I know we juggle a lot. So I wanted to make sure that it's super simple. If you can press buttons, you can use Safe Showings. I'll answer any questions you have, but right after that video plays, I go through the common questions and answers. That saves a little bit of time, but feel free to put stuff in the question or the chat box of any questions that you might have as we're going through this. And then you're going to see a QR code because your association has invested in your safety. You get Safe Showings for free. So don't go to the App Store, even though that's somewhere you can find the app. You would have to pay for it if you go to the App Store. Be sure to follow the QR code, scan it when we get to that part of the presentation, and then you'll be prompted to put in a code, which is free for me and it's case sensitive, and that code is in the chat box. It's capital FREE, the lowercase REE, the number 4, and capital M, and then the lowercase e. So we'll go ahead and start. So 7 years ago, I received an internet lead to go meet a buyer at a property on a Saturday at 2. And, I drive up to the neighborhood and the hair on the back of my neck stood up. It just didn't feel like a safe area. But I parked my car. I waited for the buyer to arrive. And when he arrived, we went into the home. This was a smaller home. And he walked to the back of the house. He was on his cell phone. I left the front door open because we're always taught to have an exit strategy. A minute later, a truck drove up and 2 men jumped on the porch. That's when my heart stopped. I thought, nobody knows where I am or who I'm with. And I knew I needed to think about my safety differently. The rest of the story is, you might be wondering what happened that day. I regained my composure. I gave them a card, told them I was working with a buyer. They were just driving by. They saw the open door. They thought it was an open house. They saw the realtor magnet on my car and the for sale sign. So once I greeted them, I told them they could call me for an appointment. But I left that situation changed. I knew that I was given a second chance. And I don't know if you know this or not. I didn't know. When I left that day, I did research and I found out over 200 realtors have been murdered in the last decade. I didn't know that. I think one life lost is too many. And these are pictures of 16 of the 200. And I think it's not a coincidence to notice that half are men and half are women. That should send a strong message to men. I have friends that are men, and I get questions sometimes a lot. People say, God, Helen, you probably should carry a gun. But there've been men that are vulnerable, and NAR tells us that men are sometimes more vulnerable because they don't think they should be, or they think that they're not going to be attacked. And you probably know about Beverly Carter with Realtor Safety Month this month, and it's a 10-year anniversary of when she was murdered. I'm friends with Carl. We've done podcasts together. And he said, Helen, I think if my mom had Safe Showings, she might be here today. That's my why. We all are here for a purpose. And I just never thought I would be doing a technology solution, but I know it's my passion. When this happened to me, I wanted to really find out, is there a tool out there that I can use that can keep me in control of my safety when I'm working with buyers, sellers, and during open houses? I was looking for something also that would tell every buyer and seller something ahead of time, that I'm in control of my safety, so I'm not looking like an easy target. And I wanted to solve that feeling of fear I felt that day when I said, nobody knows where I am or who I'm with. Not a good feeling to have. And if you've ever had it, you know what I'm talking about. So I went to the NAR website under safety resources and I did my research. I found these products that you see here. Most of them can alert your emergency contacts where you are, But think about my situation 7 years ago, standing on that porch with three men. If they had intentions to kill me, all that does is tell my three emergency contacts where to tell the coroner to send to pick up a body. I knew we needed something better. There's a big difference between being proactive or reactive. If I carried a gun, I don't, but if I did, knowing me, it would be in my purse and I show up to show a property. They don't know I'm in control of safety because they don't see the gun. The way to make that proactive is you let people know when you're setting appointments in the safety of your office. Hey, I carry a concealed permit. I tell every buyer and seller that I work with in today's world, I do carry. I just want you to know that ahead of time. If I hear that, I'm on the other end of the phone that you're in control of safety, I'm going to realize you're not an easy target, and that's going to help deter crime. So we teach the best practices for safety. You're going to hear me say that a lot, but there are two ways of using our app. You can be incognito or follow the best practices. The best practices are the ways to keep you safe, and you'll hear more about that. But if you were going to run a background check on someone, there are people that have never committed a crime. So you could do that, and then there's no red flags. They've never even had a speeding ticket. You could show up with a false sense of safety and become their first victim. And using a product like that, you don't have a solution for open houses. So we want to keep you safe. But again, your association's invested in your safety. Pepper spray, mace, a piece of jewelry, a lockbox, those are probably better than nothing. But if those three men had intentions to kill me, I wouldn't be here today. I was caught off guard. The best practice for safety starts when you're setting your appointments in the safety of your office. We all do that. You're on the phone and you just say, hey, our association cares about safety. We use Safe Showings. It's a realtor safety app. We're required to take a photo before we enter a property. If I'm on the other end and I'm thinking about committing my first crime, I've been targeting you on social media, and I hear that you're in control of safety, I'm going to hang up the phone and call somebody else, because a criminal's number one fear is not the punishment for their crime, it's getting caught. So take the control when you're setting your appointments. Just like a doorbell camera, that's a proactive approach. When criminals see there's a camera or a sticker in the window that there's an alarm system, they'll avoid those situations. They're looking for easy targets, and we don't want to be easy targets. We have given your association some sales talking point graphics that you can look at later, or review this video, this webinar later, and hear it again, but kind of reiterates what we teach for best practices. Again, in the safety of your office, you've told them, hey, we use Safe Showings. It's a realtor safety app, and we're required to take a photo before we enter a property. The next step for safety is to arrive early for the listing appointment or working with the buyer. While you're in the safety of your car, you press a button that says create the showing. The timer starts. The next thing the app is going to ask you is, who are you meeting with? We all know the contact information of buyers and sellers that are in our phone. So you just touch on John Smith and it goes right into the app. You don't have to type the name or put the phone number in. You just touch buttons. Then if it's a buyer you're working with, you've already got the app running. You put who you're meeting, you get out of the safety of your car, and you greet them when they drive up, and you just say, hey, as I mentioned, I just need to get a quick photo. If it's 2 or 3 people, just take one picture. It's this actionable step that can keep you safe and deter crime. If you're working with a listing appointment, do the same thing, except for ring the doorbell and say, as I mentioned, I just need to get a quick photo. It's super simple. We also have rider signs and open house flyers in our safety toolkit that you can download and print. This is great for your listings. It lets everybody know that you're a realtor that cares about safety. It goes right as a rider sign on top of your for sale sign. It tells people that are driving by too, that might be thinking about committing a crime or targeting the family that lives there, that there's cameras. Wait a minute, I'm not going to take a risk in getting caught, so they don't want to harm that family. And oops, I think I skipped the video. Hold on one second. Wait a minute. That caught me off guard. Sorry about that. Our app is so easy to use, and I can forward you a video so you can view it. But basically what it does, again, is there's two buttons to it. It's create the showing, and that makes the timer start. It goes to 45 minutes. We do 45 minutes because we know we can usually get in and out of a property in less than 20, but we don't want to call for help unnecessarily. So you press the create showing button, the timer goes to 45 minutes, and it obviously can count down. The next thing the app will ask you is, who are you meeting with? And that's when you touch on the person's name and your contacts. You just go to your phone and contacts and touch Kevin Johnson, it goes right into the app. You don't have to type anywhere in our app. The app knows exactly where you are at all times. It's GPS smart. You never have to enter an address. So as you're driving to your second showing, street by street, road by road, this is updating instantly. If the timer gets down to 5 minutes, it's going to send you an alert. It'll supersede anything you're looking at. So if you're looking at the MLS notes or something and your timer gets to 5 minutes, the text will pop to the top and it'll say, are you safe? Reset your timer. That's your last chance to reset the timer. So you reset the timer, it goes back to 45 minutes, hop in the car, go to the next showing. It's changing street by street, the address. And when you put the car in park, it saves that second address. 7 years ago, I wouldn't have wanted to wait 19 minutes to call for help. So we built in an emergency alarm. It's in the menu section, top left corner. You just press that, press the emergency alarm button, and in 10 seconds, it calls 911 and it sends your 3 emergency contacts, your exact location, who you're with, because you were prompted to put that in the beginning of using the app, and an image of their face if you took the photo. Our app has the menu section. It has histories of your showings. It has the emergency contacts that you enter when you register. It has your profile information, the open house feature. Now, this is how you can stay safe during open houses. When you're doing an open house, you obviously don't know who's coming, but you still want to use this tool when you get to your open house. Let's say it's 3 hours. You're going to go in when you press the create showing, you just put in 3 hours and it calculates the total number of minutes that is. Set up for your showing, do what you normally do. But when people start to come, you greet them at the door or outside and you just say, hey, the homeowner has required that I be accountable. I just need to get a quick photo. So this is a whole different scenario. You're not going to have the time, or it would be awkward if you say, I'm using a safety app. So just say the homeowner has required that I be accountable. We do that anyway. Most people do. They have them register when they come in. The homeowner requires that you register, that you've been here, that kind of thing. You're just taking one step further and taking a photo. They don't know it's in an app, a safety app at that point, but you do it, and you're being protected. Our app, again, has that emergency alarm feature. That's for you to be able to call for help in 10 seconds. And we also store the appointments you have with buyers and sellers. That has the date, the time, the person's name, the address you showed, and there is a CRM section which you can skip. You don't have to type anywhere in our app, but you could put something like buying in September. There's the create showing button that I mentioned. There's really 2 buttons you press, the create showing button and the end showing button. After you press the end showing button, our app will ask you how you felt from a safety standpoint, just like Uber and Lyft, exactly like that. It doesn't share any other details about the buyer or the listing person. It just shares how you felt from a safety standpoint. Just like Uber and Lyft, you have to give at least 1 star. But I was working with Kim Hall. That's her unique phone number. She comes to your market and you're on the phone with Kim and you say, hey, our association cares about safety. We use Safe Showings. It's a realtor safety app. We're required to take a photo. She would probably interrupt you and say, I know about that app. I worked with Helen in Charleston. But even if she doesn't say that, you can take the step for best practices a step further when you set your appointments in the safety of your office. You hang up the phone with Kim and you just go right into the app while you're still in the office. You press the create showing button. When you touch on Kim Hall's name and your contacts, you're going to see that 1 realtor's rated the client, just like Uber and Lyft. You should feel a little more safe knowing that someone worked with her and there weren't any issues. Now, if you have an issue, you have to give 1 star, then just go to the optional note section and say, here's my cell phone, call me. I want to explain what happened. Again, this is just for us as an industry to create a database to help keep each other safe. If your timer runs out, you ignore it, you don't reset it, your 3 emergency contacts will be sent a text at the same time saying there might be a problem. There'll be a 3D image of where you are. We thought that would be important for condos and townhomes, and the exact address, the person's name that you're with. We have their cell phone in our cyber secure cloud. If there's an issue, we can give that to authorities. And there'll be an image here if the person did take a photo. Now, we can't control what you take a picture of. So if you took a picture of a driver's license or a license plate or their car or whatever, that's what's going to show up right there is an image. I mentioned one thing about using this app differently, incognito. Again, I'd rather you use it the right way because you're going to be more safe. But you could technically use it and not tell people you're using it, and you'll still have that emergency alarm feature. Your 3 emergency contacts will know if there's an issue. And you could skip taking a photo. You can just turn that feature off, but you have to be consistent for a lot of different reasons, for safety, for code of ethics, and those kind of things. So just decide how you want to use it, but I hope you'll follow the best practices that we suggest. And here's another registration. I'm going to skip this because I think it's much easier just to scan this QR code. You can hold your phone up now if you're on the webinar or when you watch it in the future. You just scan this QR code and it walks you through step by step how to register. In fact, Chris did it right before we started the webinar, and he said it was easy, but it's going to prompt you to put in your name, first and last name, your cell phone number, your email, and then it'll ask you to add 3 emergency contacts when you start to use the app. But the code that you're going to type in when it asks for a 4-digit PIN, it's free for me, and it's case sensitive, capital F, lowercase e, REE, and then the number 4, and then capital M, and then lowercase e. That's it. That's what you do to register. Super simple. Let's see if there's anything else. That's all I really had. I want to leave time for questions. I hope I covered most of your questions that might come to mind, but are there any questions, Chris, and from the group?
So I'm looking right now. Right now, we don't have any questions in the Q&A section. If anyone has any questions, make sure you're using that Q&A portion of the Zoom. You can also use the chat. I'm moderating that. But for right now, we have nothing. We can give it about a minute, see if anything populates. And if not,
While we're waiting, I'll mention one other thing that sometimes comes up, and I don't know in your area if you have poor self-service. Every app does require self-service. So until technology changes, you still have a way to be safe in using our app. By the best scenario is you know your market ahead of time. So you've previewed, you've shown the property, or you just know there's no self-service there. So you still role play it on the phone. Hey, I look forward to meeting you. Our association cares about safety. We use safe showings and we're required to take a photo. Let's meet at Starbucks in that case. So you meet somewhere, or the office where you have self-service. You run the app, press the create showing button. It prompts you who you're meeting with. You touch on Chris Lopez. He's in your contacts. And then when he walks into Starbucks or to the office, the app's already running. Then you take the photo where you have self-service. All that data is going to go to our cyber secure cloud. In this example, you would ahead of time text your 3 emergency contacts. Hey, I'm showing this property at this time. If I don't reach back out to you, check on me. And you can still text. In that example, we've already got the photo of the person. The second scenario is you don't know about the self-service being poor. You didn't preview the property, so you did follow the instructions, and you get to the property and you realize, oh no, I don't have self-service. In that example, you can still, hopefully you arrived early, you've told them you use a safety app, text your 3 emergency contacts, let them know where you are, when to check on you, and still follow the role play when you greet the buyer when they drive up. Just say, hey, as I mentioned, I just need to get a quick photo. That photo goes to your cell phone in the camera section, photo section in that example, but at least you're following the process for safety when you don't have self-service.
all right. Looks like we have 2 questions. The first one is any of the people's info being sold to a third party?
Absolutely not. I wouldn't be in business if I did that. I understand the importance of keeping it private, and we do have terms and conditions and a privacy statement that you'll click on when you register.
And then another question that we have, press this. So has anyone ever given you a hard time about taking their photo?
No, that's a great question, and we've had roundtable discussions about it. And the way I explain it is, if you're a buyer, I always say reverse the role. Let's say you're a buyer or you're thinking of selling your house, and you're the realtor. Before you meet with them, they're on the phone and they say, "Hey, we use the safety app and we're required to take a photo." If you're genuinely interested in buying or selling, would that bother you in today's world? It wouldn't bother me. I would probably say, "Oh, I get it. You work alone." And when we have the roundtable discussions, what comes up is we all agree as realtors that whether you're a buyer or a seller or a realtor, we're on social media, your picture's out there. You're going by doorbell cameras, doctor's offices, airports, ATMs. Whether you know it or not, your picture's out there. And we're not storing it anywhere to be used. It's going to the cyber secure cloud. And if a crime's committed, we cooperate with authorities to give them what they need, but it's not going to go to your cell phone under your camera photo sections. It goes to the cyber secure cloud. And you could be in the picture with them if you feel comfortable, more comfortable taking a photo and do a selfie, make it more fun or whatever. Just whatever feels good to you.
Perfect. Um, we also have another question here. Someone had asked if it was free for just a trial period. Um, and I would
No,
assume if there's any additional costs.
it's your association has renewed, so we each year we reach out to the association. This is the second or third year, I believe, you've had access to it. So please use it and give us your feedback. If you have any questions in the app, there's a contact to us button. If there's any concern or issues, you can communicate that way or call the number you see on the screen. That would probably be the best. But email or just go through the chat on contact us through the app, and it comes right to our team and we can answer your questions usually in less than 24 hours.
Gotcha. Here. Um, I think that's pretty much it. We had someone have an issue with registering via the link. Um, if they're having issues registering with that QR code, is there a link I could provide them, Helen, that I can email to the participants that kind of helps them get past that? If anyone's having issues, you can use that again, the QR code right there. But we can look into emailing that link out. I can contact or email with Helen afterwards and then send something out to all the participants here, just in case anyone else is having issues. It seems only one person was, but just in case, we can do that.
Sure, absolutely. I'll send you, you want the QR code?
Yeah,
Would that
yeah.
be
If you could email me the QR code, and then I could just take the link from there and I'll email the participants. That's perfect.
okay? Perfect.
All right. Other than that, I think that's all the questions that we have for right now.
If
So
anything comes up, just let me know, email me. I'll be happy to get back to you.
perfect. Thank you so much, Ellen, for taking the time to do this presentation for our membership today. You did a phenomenal job. I can't thank you enough. It was an honor. And thank you all to the members that were joining today. We appreciate your time and for coming here today to watch this and give Helen that time that she deserves. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you all later. All right, thank you, Helen.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.